right, welcome back, everybody. I hope everybody had a great holiday and a happy new year. I had a pretty good Christmas, pretty good New Year, nice and quiet and peaceful. And now it's back to getting this all done. I still haven't got my voice back, as you can tell. A couple people messaged me being worried because I was sick. Yeah, I had a pretty rough, I'd say 2 months. I got sick, which it's not the flu, it's not the C-vid. I don't want to say the whole word on here because YouTube might shut me down. You never know. But it beat me up for a solid month. I still haven't got my voice back yet, and that I felt better probably beginning of December, mid-December, and then I got a kidney stone that put me in the hospital, which I just got a bill was 10 grand. And then a week after that, I got a wicked eye infection from scratching it. I got a corneal ulcer. Spent a week dealing with that. But now I feel good. Got most of my energy back. I don't care what anybody says. I believe I had a different form of C-vid because it feels exactly the same afterwards. But neither here nor there. I'm better. I'm back ready to start working on this car again. I've been slowly collecting parts because that's pretty much all I could do. Steve came over and Dave came over. Steve helped me get the transmission out of the car because I just had zero energy. We got the transmission out of the car. We washed the whole car. Washed everything, washed underneath. So, yep. That's all taken care of. I got to strip some things from the engine bay and then call up Tony and get the paint. Wash the transmission. I'm going to rewire some things here. I want to build a nicer harness because this is for like the shock position, the shift position, trans brake, and then there's another harness for this. So I want to get this nicer. Pile of parts. But what we're doing now is the rebuild. And it has been probably since I blew it up trying to decide what I wanted to actually do. And it's been a hard decision because I'm like, well, drivetrain's out the car. Drivetrain's broken. Well, motor's broken out, drivetrain. Do I put a Coyote in it? Do I put a big block in it? And this was my thought process. Big block, cool. You can pick up a Gen 4 and up big block, short block, cheap, $200-300 for a block. Throw a cheap rotating assembly, Eagle, Scat, K1, whatever. Decent set of off-the-shelf heads. Make 1,500 horsepower. I got to do all that. I have to upgrade the turbos. I got to change the headers. I got to change the wiring. Intercooler, radiator, like pretty much it would be starting over again. Mid-plate, motor plate locations, bell housing, converter, like from the transmission pump forward, everything would have to change. And I'm like, well, Coyote, same size as a big block, same thing. Coyote's more expensive, but I'd be able to stick like a stock Gen 2 in there, some oil pump gears, and run that for a while. But again, bell housing, converter. I'd get away with keeping the turbos, but headers, turbo kit, location, intercooler piping, radiator, like a whole mess of stuff. And I'm like, what do I do? The logical thing is to put an LS back in the car. I have a short block. Be it a stock bottom end, it's just a stock Gen 4 aluminum short block. But I have countless miles, countless tunes. We know the setup. I don't have to change converter. I don't have to change bell housings. I don't have to change intakes. I don't have to change exhaust. Turbo kit. Like, everything will bolt back together. Wiring. Like, the whole nine. So the logical thing is put an LS in the car. It gets me going racing again, the fastest and cheapest. Do I want to stay with an LS in the car? No. Eventually, I'd like to put a big block in the car, but that's a lot of money and a lot of work. So I don't know where my racing career will take me. The goal will be a 25.3 cage with big block with twin 88s or something of that nature on it. But I can't afford that right now. So what we're going to do is we're going to stick another LS back in the car. Gen 4 aluminum short block. That does not look good. That looks like dried up coolant in a head stud location. This might set me back a little bit. See what we got going on here. I've just seen this for the first time. I literally bought this thing for 200 bucks and it's sat on the stand since. Well, yeah, it's definitely dry coolant. I don't know if you could see that. But, you know, could have blew a head gasket. I don't know. We're here to... Hopefully it doesn't have a cracked sleeve. But man, that entire bolt hole is full of coolant. Strange, because the actual coolant passage is clean. Very, very strange. So I'm gonna tear this down. And what we're going to do is we're going to build a motor, an actual built motor. We're not just going to put a stock bottom end motor back together built in the driveway with a power washer. You know, I was going, made my best pass 5.0, 5.05, best mile an hour, almost 144 on a bone stock short block. Well, I mean, it had a cam in it, oil pump, but stock bolts, stock rods, stock pistons, stock main studs, stock rock bolts. Like, everything was stock. So I think you're going to have to go 490s at Devin's event next year to be competitive in the top 3. 5.07 one, I think. So I need to have a motor that can go reliable 480s. I think the car would have went 490s with what it had. I just couldn't get a whole pass together. So what we're going to do is we're going to build a motor on the cheap. I'm not putting a ton of money into a stock block deal. I just don't see it worth it. And I also don't see the allure to an aftermarket LS block. If I were to spend the money on an aftermarket LS block, I'd just go big block at that point. You know, you could get a Dart. I think my buddy Mark, who's Red Chevelle, you've seen on the channel, I think he told me it's like $9 grand into his short block, and that's with a Dart block. Like, you're gonna spend $5 grand on a aftermarket LS block. $5 grand just on a block, unless you find something for 3,500 bucks out there, but which is out there. But I don't want to do that. So what I have started collecting parts. What we have here is a K1 crank, right? K1 stock stroke, 3622. But it is, I'm really surprised that the crank gear isn't welded on. But what's nice is you get keyways now instead of a press fit dampener. so you get keyway, so easier to take on and off. I have to weld the reluctor wheel, which I'll probably just, I'll do that. It's got to get, this whole thing's got to get balanced anyway, so I'll probably do that to save a couple bucks. I got some K1 stock stroke rods, 6/125s, I-beams, I'm sorry, H-beams. What rod bolts are in this? ARP 2000s. I have the Wiseco's out of my built motor. If y'all remember the first motor I had in the car, the iron block, I have the leftover Wiseco's. These were good. They look like hell because they got like a weird chemical bath that really makes them look weird. I need to get new wrist pins. I got to get the thick wall. And I have the ARP main studs out of the built motor too. So, I use that. I've also picked up a set of Johnson 2116 SLR short travel lifters, link bars. Supposed to be the best, pretty much the best, you know, for this stuff. I got these on a screaming deal. Some guy local, brand new, never used. He's like $500. I'm sold. Take them. They're like $900 lifters. Those are the heads off the motor. I'm selling these for parts if anybody wants them. It's got BTR 660s, titaniums in it. This head is good. It might have a bent valve or two. This head is obviously trashed, but you know, if you're local to Connecticut or you're willing to pay shipping, I mean, I'd probably sell them for $200. But and then we have our short block. So I got to tear this all down, get it down to a bare block, and start getting machine work, start getting quotes for machine work. Like I said, I got to get the upgraded pins, the bigger, the locks all in here? I didn't see the rest of the locks. Oh, they're all in there. Okay, so I got to get the heavy wall pins, and I got to get rings, and I got to get bearings. Those are the three things I need, and then I can start getting ready to send this to the machine shop. I have my buddy Nate at Override Motorsports just went coyote with his car. If you watch his YouTube channel, he's sleeving a Gen 3. It's gonna be bad. He had a ton of LS parts, so he sold me his set of cam bearings, brand new set of cam bearings, and he had 3 BTR small bore head gaskets, which was the gaskets I ran, which were completely destroyed. So now I'll have a spare, which I didn't before, which is nice. Yeah. So let's start tearing down this this gem here.
You say I make you nervous, a tragedy, I'm a beautiful disaster, a reckoning. You wonder how I got this way. You think I'm someone to be saved.
The pan's clean. I don't see any. I mean, I see some sludge in there, but I don't see any, you know, bad signs yet. So far, so good. Let's flip it over and make a mess.
And battle scars, but it always ends the same. Can't bear the things I've had to face. Got you crying on your knees in pain. Oh, some things never change, never change. Oh, you'll break your back to make me feel again. Suffocate to make me breathe again. Lose your mind from endless pain. Some things never change, never change. Oh, redemption ever came. I stopped asking for forgiveness, cause you should know only fools tread where the angels fear to go, but you keep trying to get too close.
You can see the bearings. Spotless. All the bearings. Spotless. Crank. Spotless. So it looks like it was an oil burner. That's about it. Like I said, a little slap on cylinder 1, but hopefully that bore's not out of round, because that'll suck. But I do not see anything out of line, which obviously I'm not a machinist who's going to mic all this, but so far, good news. 5.3. So the cam bearings are shot, but whatever. All right, that's good news. Very good news. So next, I'm going to try to clean up this block some, but not tonight. Maybe we'll tear apart the rest of the engine bay for this video and call it quits, and then I'm going to start calling around and talking to people about... I got to order the rest of the parts first and talk to people about assembling this. I have a feeling it's going to be like $2,000 to do it all. Which hurts. But let's get this mess cleaned up. Figure out what I want to do with this stock 1200 horsepower rotation assembly. And we'll go from there. So in the middle of rebuilding this, I forgot I had to fix my oil pan. I've already started straightening it, but let me grab a flashlight here so you can really see. The bolt hole right here, got it lined back up, it was about right here. I used the arbor press, straighten it. You can see all the damage to the bottom. What I gotta do is, I gotta bend the flange up. You can see all the light. You can see it's bent down right there. So I gotta bend this up, start to get this flat. I gotta work this back in, but I think I'm gonna move these oil drains as well. I want to put them back here. Same on this side. I gotta bend the pan rail down some, do some banging on it, and make some noise. So we're gonna get rid of all of this foam, which could still have fire come through. And I'll just put, you know, 2 bulkhead 10s. The joys of it all. Weld it up, cut it out, weld it back up. I swear it never freaking ends. Dummy. So I'm not going to film stripping the whole engine bay down. I got the wiper motor out, brake booster out, throttle cable out. I got to pull the dash to get those boxes out. Take this out, take those things out. And that's pretty much that. I'm going to take the wire out for the wiper motor too. But that's easy peasy lemon squeezy. Yeah, I won't film it. We're gonna get it all painted up. We're gonna get a motor back together. I'd love to get some new fenders for this car. A new fenders bumper. I'd love a whole new front end. I have factory fenders on the convertible. And what I think I'm gonna do is, I think I'm going to buy some cheapos for this car and save these for my green car. You know, this car doesn't need to be perfect. That car should be close to it. Oh, I'd like to get another bumper, a 10-inch. This is a 9-inch. Flat hood. OE fenders, and get this thing fitting right. Get rid of these stupid ass rails. I've grown to hate a lift-off hood with a passion. I'm literally at the stage where I might buy a 2-inch fiberglass cowl, like a hardwood. I saw one on Facebook Marketplace for $150. Cut my hinge holes back open, bolt it on, just cut a hole in the center of the hood, and have that painted, because liftoff is dumb. I have another cowl right there that I can get all the measurements from to cut open mine. And I might go that route. Well, I'm going to cut these open before I send it for paint. And then they'll be all set. So when I switch to a flat hood, I'm telling you, I am sick and freaking tired of a lift-off hood. Tired of it. Especially after trying to rip it off to get to a fire. Tired of it. So we'll see where that gets us. Yeah. Yep. So like I said, I'm not going to film the rest of this, taking bulkheads out and stuff like that. Doing that rest of this. So that'll be the end of this video. I don't know when the next one will be. I don't know what it will be. It'll probably be welding up the holes in this, getting that all situated, and then maybe bringing it down to get painted, and we'll go from there. So get in the garage, grab a cold drink, get to work on your hot rod. Have a good night, guys.